The UberEats app is undergoing some major changes after the recent acquisition of the Postmates app. Let's talk about all of that, what it's like to drive with the new app, and how these changes are going to affect driver earnings, because that's really what it all comes down to. And these changes are also coming at the same time as some larger macroeconomic events, some seasonality in the gig economy, and policy changes regards to pricing put in place by Uber. So at the end of the video, we're also going to look at all of those. What is up, everybody? Jonathan here from Gig Nation, where we talk about everything related to the gig economy. Before I hop into this video, if you have not checked out the Maestro driver app yet, go ahead and take a look at them. They recently added DoorDash to the platform, and that means that when you're out there driving, you can auto filter out those low-paying orders in the DoorDash app. You can also auto accept the orders that fit your criteria, and this makes everything all around more profitable and more safe as a driver, because you're spending less time looking at your phone while you're driving and more time just doing the deliveries for the highly profitable orders that you want. You can get a free trial. Check out my link down below if you're interested in just testing that out for a while and seeing how it works for you. Okay, so let's get back into this acquisition. The first thing I want to show you guys is the Postmates Fleet app. I was previously also a driver on this app. Now, when I log into this app, it essentially just shows you a screen redirecting you to download the UberEats app, and that's because these apps are now one, and the merger of these two apps is going to affect driver pay. We're certainly going to see a higher volume of orders coming through, but there's also going to be a lower pay threshold, because Postmates notoriously had one of the lowest thresholds for offers out there. But there's one thing that a lot of drivers are missing. It's a small nuance to why this change could actually have a positive effect on driver earnings. So let's take a look at exactly what that is. And for me to kind of show you guys how this is going to be positive for driver earnings, let's take a quick look at the Postmates customer app, because this is something that I've used in the past to order food off of. And if you take a look at it right now, you'll notice that it looks a lot like the UberEats customer app. And that's essentially because now they have merged into a single platform. They're still two separate apps. Uber is doing this because they don't want to lose customers who are searching for the Postmates app, who don't understand, that they're acquired by Uber and it's the same thing. They can't simply do like a redirect like you would do on a website where you send all traffic that's searching from one name to the other app. So they just kind of added the same UberEats interface into that Postmates app. So I'm going to do a test order here and show you guys why this is different, because once I get to the end of this order for my sushi burrito, you're going to see that Postmates is now insisting that I leave a tip before I place that order, which is a big thing for drivers, because not only is that tip prompted before the order, which is going to psychologically convince more customers to leave a tip. Those customers that want to get their food fast and get it warm are going to leave that tip up front, but also because the Fleet app is now merged with the UberEats driver app, we're going to see those tips up front. And for me, that was the most problematic thing about the Postmates Fleet app, is that you did not see tips up front. So there were some offers that came in higher, you could take those, but there was a lot of guesswork. There was a lot of, what if this has a tip? A lot of offers ended up paying out tips later, but you have no way to know what that might be. And for drivers, the most important thing is always earnings and offer transparency, knowing how far you're driving, how much you're getting paid, how much time it's going to take, and UberEats shows you all of that. So there's definitely the initial response that we're all getting as drivers. It's kind of a gut reaction that I have as well, seeing these $2 offers pop up, and I've seen quite a few more of them recently. At first, I thought it's because I'm delivering in a new market. I'm now in Florida. I thought maybe the floor was lower here. But what I failed to understand is that the Postmates merger is now live, and I'm seeing these Postmates offers. So the initial feeling seeing these low offers, that's the most visible change in the app, is lower payouts. I don't like to see this, but if you are still setting those minimums as a driver, if you're still using all of that information that UberEats provides with the length of the trip, the distance, and the order payout, you can kind of keep your thresholds the same. You can keep that pay per mile the same amount, which is, for me, it's close to $2 per mile. And you can keep your earnings per hour at the same amount. So, looking for those shorter offers that take 20 tops 25 minutes and still pay out good, $6, $7 minimum. If you're keeping those thresholds, over time, what we're probably going to be seeing as drivers is a higher volume, and that subtle change to the Postmates platform where customers are tipping up front and you're seeing that tip money up front means that it's going to be easier for drivers to filter out the low offers, which are going to be there because Postmates is going to have them, and actually just take a higher volume of higher paying offers on the UberEats driver app, which is going to be very beneficial for drivers. Now, this is also coming at the same time as a couple big macroeconomic events and also some seasonality. We all know that the gig economy is traditionally kind of slow in the summer. Food delivery is not exactly on fire during the summer months. So there's going to be a slowdown there, and that's definitely not related to the Postmates acquisition. That's just a general thing that we always look out for as drivers. We always, diversify, find other side hustles. Moving is very popular during the summer, so sometimes that's an app that we like to look at. But we just don't put as much confidence in high payouts during the summer. During the good times, during the busy weekends and the busy weeknights, there's still a lot of good payout there, but we have to pick and choose a little bit better during this time frame. We're also seeing a lot of inflation across the board. Now, this looks to be transitory. It doesn't look like it's something that's going to stick, but consumer spending might be dropping a little bit, and that combined with these summer months that are kind of slow is going to be, a bit of an issue for drivers. Nothing too big. I think it will kind of smooth out over the next month or so, but something to keep, in mind when you're gauging your earning expectations for the next couple months going forward. And there's also one other big change that, if you've tuned into social media lately, you've probably seen a lot of Uber videos on the consumer side, people talking about why getting an Uber ride is so much more expensive all of a sudden, and why ordering food has become more expensive. And the answer here is really simple. It's the fact that Uber, DoorDash, Lyft were heavily subsidizing their services before they became public companies. And now that they're public, they have to look out for their shareholders, and they have to increase their profit margin as much as possible. And that means, raising prices and dropping these subsidies, because these subsidies we're keeping them from being profitable. So that's going to have an effect on supply and demand as well. As we see prices go up, consumers who might be starting to think about cutting a few costs as inflation comes in high are going to look at those luxuries that they don't actually need, and one of those might be food delivery. Once again, I don't think it's going to have a dramatic effect going forward, but the accumulation of all of these events at once is leading to a higher slowdown than normal for what we would see during the summer months. So where does this leave us as drivers? I mean, nothing really changes, right? Like, we still have our base pay expectations per order and per mile and per minute that we're expecting. Those should not waver, right? Like, we might have to pick and choose, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit better the times of the week that we're driving and delivering. If you are looking for other ways to diversify, there are other apps out there to bring in income. Moving is usually very popular during the summer, and with all of these people rushing to buy new houses and move to new places, I expect it to be hotter than usual this summer. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'd recommend taking a look at that. I've mentioned in previous videos that I'm actually testing out some full-time employment opportunities. For me, it's actually part-time, and I'm looking at an Amazon warehouse job. Tonight's actually my first night, so I start at 11:30 p.m. and I work till 3:30 a.m. I'm going to make a video about that, about my first day. Stay tuned to the channel to get more updates on that and how that is going, because I'm going to be sharing my full journey there. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments down below. What are you seeing with payouts? I would imagine we're all seeing those lower pay offers, but do you think that this higher volume is going to be a good thing for drivers on the UberEats app? And are you seeing the same thing where there's potentially more reasonable pay offers out there with these minor kind of micro changes to the Postmates app as it merges with UberEats? What are you seeing on your end? I'd love to hear some feedback from you.